All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to another edition of Marilyn's Cafe Society radio show right here on the YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, June 23rd, 2018, and yes, it is officially summer. I love this time of year, don't you? Well, I tell you, I've been out and about enjoying it, not complaining because we went from two extremes in the last week. You guys know that, right? We were truly in summer, hitting the 90s, and with the heat index, even the hundreds. And of course, now for the last couple of days, it's kind of been unseasonably cool, but no complaints. Enjoying it, enjoying it. All right, and how are you? How was your week? How was Father's Day? Ours was a bit subdued. My dad was not in town, but we did spend some time with him on the phone, and I worked, believe it or not, and just kind of hung out with coworkers. All right, so we're going to have a short show again this week. It's summertime, and we got a lot on the plate, but I did want to present a decent show to you this week. And of course, remind you to tune in next week, next Saturday, for a very special edition of the show. All right. So are you ready for this day in history? It's pretty interesting. Listen to this. Back in 1888, abolitionist Frederick Douglass became the first African American to be nominated for the United States president. Now, he didn't know about this particular nomination, but one that he did know about happened just before that, back in 1872, when he became the first African American nominated for vice president. And of course, his running mate for president was a woman, Victoria Woodhull. Yeah, can you believe that? All right, of course, we know about Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American woman back in 1972 to run for president. All right, so I'm getting off this day in history. Let's get back. Back in 1974, on this day in history, the first extraterrestrial message was sent from Earth into space. What? So the big question is, did anyone respond back, right? Was there a response back? Wow. All right. So that takes us to our cafe talk question, which is, do you believe that intelligent extraterrestrial life or aliens exist? Yeah, I got it posted on Facebook, Maryland's Cafe Society. It's also on Twitter at Maryland's Cafe Soch. So be sure to chime in and, let me know. You can also text your response to me at 815-593-1695, and we'll get to those a bit later on in the show today. All right. All right. So again, Cafe Talk. Do you believe that intelligent extraterrestrial life exists or aliens? All right. Okay. So cafe news is pretty heavy. I know you guys have been watching the news all week, and this whole immigration thing is really bringing out emotions and concerns in people. And so one of the top stories that I've kind of been following is the development, or I should say status of two immigration bills that have been on the table. And the latest report came through on Thursday, yesterday, that the first bill did not pass in the House. The vote was 231 to 193, and pretty interesting there, that the GOP can't really decide on what they want to do with these two bills. The second bill was pushed back until next week, when they're going to try to deal with that one. I guess they didn't want it to appear that both partisan bills failed on the same day, but nevertheless, the first bill would have provided nearly $25 billion for a border wall. It also would have made some steep cuts to legal immigration programs and provided legal temporary status for young people who were brought into the country as children. Now, the second bill, which was a more moderate bill, um, and which will be voted for or voted on next week, earmarks 23 billion for the construction of a border wall, which we all know is a priority for President Trump. And it makes or will make steep cuts to legal immigration programs as well, and potentially ruin the support that the Democrats might have been giving this particular bill. It will also provide legal status and a pathway to citizenship for about 800,000 immigrants who, again, were brought in illegally as children, which is a big plus that the Democrats want to see happen. Now, it supports the mandate that the president signed just on Wednesday, the executive order that is to make sure that families who are detained be together until the adults go through the proceedings or whatever that process is to determine whether they can stay or whether they have to be returned back to their country. Now, of course, we all know that this bill that is yet to be voted on next week, the moderate bill, and the executive order that the president put forth earlier this week, still leaves to question what happened to the 2,300 children who were already taken away from their parents. Now, of course, we've heard reports that 100, maybe 500 or so have been reunited with their family, but where are the other ones? You know, they're all scattered around the country, and so I guess it's a process and making sure that they're brought back with their parents, reunited with their parents. Just a tough thing to realize. And I jumped to social media like so many other people did earlier in the week on this issue after those disturbing images came by. Mind you, I had been getting emails and reading about this particular situation, how the children were being separated from their parents, but it really did not hit me until I saw the images like so many other people did earlier in the week. And so I jumped to social media and I got varied responses, some in private, some posted publicly, but some folks pointed out, hey, kids here in the United States have been being separated from their parents in different scenarios for years now, and no one's screaming about that. And then also, some folks were a bit insensitive to those who were fleeing their country in hopes of being received with open arms here in the United States by saying, hey, they know they're not supposed to be coming over here illegally, so, they put their own children in that situation. I'm telling you, it's just, a very varied stance from people on this issue, but I think we all agree that it is very traumatic and emotionally devastating to children to be ripped away from their parents, because for the most part they don't know what's going on. And again, those parents, most of them, are fleeing horrific situations, violent situations, life-threatening situations, in hopes that they will be received here in the United States. So we'll continue to watch this and see how it further develops. Now, other countries having problems with immigrants. Italy. There was a report out on this Thursday that Matteo Salvini, who is the Interior Minister of Italy, refused to take in a port of migrants. I guess some 224 migrants who were on a rescue boat. Now, he did the same thing just a week or so ago. He turned away another foreign ship that had some 630 migrants on board. Now, the latest situation with the 224 migrants appear to be a ship that was operated by a German aid group called Mission Lifeline. They had loaded some 224 migrants from Libya. They actually rescued them from Libyan waters after an Italian Coast Guard told them that they needed to leave them back on in the Libyan waters so that the Libyan Coast Guards could rescue them. Oh, I tell you now, the Mission Lifeline people said that they conducted the rescue in international waters and, of course, was asking for a safe port to take those people to. And again, the Interior Minister of Italy said no. So as of Thursday night, there was no clear indication as to where these 224 migrants landed. Maybe we'll do a little digging here at the Cafe Society to see if we can get that question answered. All right, and other international news that affects us here in the United States, the European Union has enforced tariffs on $3.4 billion in United States products. And this is all in retaliation for duties that the Trump administration has put on European steel and aluminum. The taxes are on American products that include bourbon, peanut butter, orange juice, and yeah, I guess the whole point is to kind of put some political pressure on the Trump administration to, ease up on some of these tariffs that they've been enforcing. Now, of course, Trump responded on Twitter by threatening to impose a 20% tax on European cars that are imported in here. So stay tuned, everybody. Things are getting pretty interesting. All right, and then in other business news, this might be good news. The OPEC countries have agreed to pump 1 million barrels more crude oil per day to kind of help keep the rising cost of energy prices down. And, there's two countries, Iran and Venezuela in particular, who aren't sure how they're going to be able to do that. But, this is all because oil prices are on the rise. And, of course, that trickles down to us and how it affects us, of course, with the price of gasoline and everything. So we'll see if this decision to increase the oil pumping, at least with the countries who say they will do it, will bring those gas prices down some more for us. All right, and then real quick, looking at the stock market, the Dow Jones was up 119.9, the S&P 500 also up 5.12, and the NASDAQ fell 20.13. Stocks on the move include ExxonMobil, also CarMax, Hain Celestial, and Johnson & Johnson. Those not doing so well, Red Hat Incorporated, Tesla, Harley Davidson, and Autodesk. Okay, and that's our business news. Now, we do have some interesting entertainment news. My goodness, did you hear about Netflix? The CEO of Netflix went on record just earlier this week saying that the company had to let go their top spokesperson over the use of the N-word. Yeah, spokesperson Jonathan Friedland, who happens to be Caucasian or white, confirmed in some tweets on Twitter that he was leaving the company. And he did admit that he was insensitive in speaking with his team, his public relations staff, months ago. I guess the conversation was about sensitive words being used in entertainment that could cause problems, and he said the word during the meeting, which of course I guess it created some kind of stir. And when the human resources staff met with him on whether or not he used that word in the meeting, he used the word again. And as a result, probably in sarcasm, right? As a result, he has lost his job. So there you go. Some things kind of stirring up there at Netflix. All right, did you hear that Jerry Springer is ending his talk show? No, you didn't hear about it? Well, a lot of people haven't. He's kind of going away quietly, which is kind of ironic when you think about all the raucous that occurs or happens during his show, right? Anyway, he's gone away, everybody, after some 30 plus years or so of doing the Jerry Springer show. Now, it's not going completely away. I did read that there have been several networks who have picked up reruns, and so for those who really enjoy the Jerry Springer show, you'll get to catch the reruns on various networks. And there is a buzz, a little murmuring about maybe some special Jerry Springer shows will pop up in the future, but there's not a whole lot being confirmed on that. Nevertheless, he's going away. Now, remember, back in his heyday, he was running head to head with Oprah Winfrey for daytime television supremacy, and of course, we all know who won that fight. But he still stayed in there with his antics. Of course, sort of being the mediator during his talk show with all that was going on. All right, so anyway, for those who don't know, Jerry Springer used to be a mayor in Cincinnati, Ohio, and of course he is sort of fading away slowly, going away slowly with the talk show, everybody. So stay tuned, though. And by the way, do you know I think they had some 4,000 episodes during the run of his career on the Jerry Springer show. So we'll see. You know, it's hard. Once you get into this business, it's hard to just totally go away, right? I believe he's going to pop up. Maybe not on a daily show, but I believe he's going to pop up and do some other things. Okay. All right. And speaking of talk shows, I know you guys heard about Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah, she launched a couple months ago a talk show that includes her mom, Adrienne Bainfield, and her daughter, Willow Smith. It's called Red Table Talk. It airs on Facebook Live, and it's a hit. Why wouldn't it be? But they really just talk about everyday life. They open up about themselves and their experiences in life, and apparently learn a lot about each other at the Red Table as well. So who knows? I mean, it's doing quite well on Facebook Live, but who knows? We might see this pop up on daytime television or, maybe even nighttime television. But so far her guests have been family and really close friends who, again, all have been opening up about their lives and adventures and events. So congratulations to them on that. Also, Amy Schumer, everybody, just debuted her new podcast. It's called Amy Schumer Presents 3 Girls and 1 Keith. Of course, it launched this past Thursday, and it all went down in her apartment with her best friends, comedian Rachel Feinstein, Bridget Everett, and Keith Robinson. And it will be a Spotify original, and I guess it's going to be made available to everyone pretty soon. Okay, and musically, here's some news for Paul McCartney fans. He just released his 17th solo album. It's called Egypt Station. I'm sorry, he's working on it, and it's going to be released September 7th. Now, the title comes from the name of one of his paintings, so stay tuned for that one. And in other news, Jane Fonda is to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. That's going to be at a Northern Michigan Film Festival led by fellow Oscar winner Michael Moore. It was announced this past Thursday that the actress, author, and political activist will be honored during the Traverse City Film Festival. It runs from July 31st to August 5th, so congratulations to her on that. And speaking of other Lifetime Achievement Awards. Did you hear that Anita Baker will be receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award at this year's BET Awards? Yeah, it airs tomorrow, Sunday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on BET. It's going to be hosted by Jamie Foxx. And some of the performers include Nicki Minaj, Miguel, Meek Mill, and Yolanda Adams. So be sure to tune in. I'm sure it's going to be fun-filled. All right, and then real quick, everybody, in sports, the WNBA is in full effect. Be sure to support the ladies of the NBA, everybody. They need love too, right? We need love too. So here's what the rundown is in the Eastern Conference. It looks like Washington is in the number one spot, followed by Connecticut, Atlanta, New York, and then the Chicago Sky and Indiana behind them. In the Western Conference, the Los Angeles Sparks are leading, followed by Phoenix, Seattle, Dallas, Minnesota, and Las Vegas. And of course, the Chicago Sky lost to the Mystics 93-77 on last night, and they will be taking on Phoenix tomorrow at 5 p.m. So again, let's support the ladies of the NBA. And speaking of the NBA, they are in draft mode. And here's the top 5 picks. The Phoenix Suns picked up DeAndre Ayton. He's a center. Sacramento Kings picked up Marvin Bagley III. He's a forward. The Mavericks got Luka Doncic, who's a guard. The Grizzlies got Jaren Jackson Jr., who's a forward. And the Hawks got Trae Young, who's a power guard. And it looks like the Bulls, locally here, got the number 7 pick, which was Wendell Carter Jr. He's a forward and center. And the number 22 pick, Chandler Hutchinson, who's a forward as well. So we'll continue to watch that draft and see how things further develop. All right, real quick, going to Cafe Talk. Again, everybody, it is, do you believe in extraterrestrial life or aliens? Do you think they're out there? Well, we got to post it to our social media, and we're going to just see if we have anyone chiming in on that real quickly. Now, you know, as a kid growing up watching sci-fi with my brother, I kind of believe it. You know, I know that television isn't real for the most part. A lot of times, though, Hollywood is inspired by real life events, right? That whole big question, is it art imitating life, or is it life imitating art? And just growing up hearing those whispers about the possibility of there being alien life, and, you know, the government knows about these intellectual alien beings who exist here on Earth. So, you know, if you take 100%, I am somewhere around 30% in belief that there are alien beings, you know. Now, what they look like, how they communicate, and all of that, I'm not sure. But just off the top, I do kind of sort of believe that there is other life out there, and not just, you know, life in the sense of you know, cellular life, you know, microcosms and all of that. I mean, intelligent life, I think, is out there. You know, of course, we're you know, from a spiritual perspective, we are believers of angels, and that angels are out there in the universe, you know, watching over us. I certainly believe that. But I'd love to hear from you. Of course, it's already posted again on Facebook, Marilyn's Cafe Society, and it's on Twitter, Marilyn's Cafe Social. I'll just check in throughout the day to see if there's a comment. And again, you can text me. In fact, we had a couple dings during my reporting on some of this news that's been going on. Let's go there and see. All right. And we do have Kathy texting saying, absolutely, I believe there is. And we have another one that says, oh, that's a private one. Okay. All right, everybody. So that's it. So again, remember to follow me on Twitter, Marilyn's Cafe Soch. You can find me on Facebook at Marilyn's Cafe Society. And of course, Maryland'sCafeSociety.com is the website, and the YouTube is Marilyn's Cafe Society on YouTube. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, everybody. I would appreciate it so very much. Next Saturday, a very special show is being planned. We're going to salute Black Music History Month. Actually, we're going to be wrapping it up because June is Black Music History Month, and next Saturday, I believe, is the last Saturday in June. So we'll be bringing you a great show. All right? I got to tell you what love is before we get out of here. Love is looking at you, not back. All right? And of course, remember, if you don't do anything else this week, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love. As always, it's been a pleasure and a privilege. And we'll do it all over again next Saturday right here at Marilyn's Cafe Society YouTube channel. Peace, everybody. Keep cool or warm, however it's happening with where you are. All right. Bye-bye.